Friends, this video I'm recording about my career, how I entered IT, and then how every year I improved my skill set and then move forward like that. So this is my son made this cap. So let me tell you, because this will be useful for followers, friends, and those who are starting their career in IT. My haters, right? They write BA, what they don't know what I did. So let us not worry about my haters. The point here is, after I traveled, 1995 to 2001, 2021, right? I don't feel any difficulty in doing IT job. I felt like most easiest job on this planet is job in information technology. Any job that might be a desktop engineer carrying a laptop or a desktop or a server to IT company CEO. Anything is easy, man. Because you eat a breakfast, you take your first coffee, you eat your breakfast. Work from home is a different case, no COVID and other time also. You drive your car. If it is India or wherever, you go by a cab. And then you sit in a AC room, you sit in a chair in front of a laptop. You eat lunch, brunch, whatever, and then you go home and you take a dinner. It's most easiest job is information technology. Point one. And I bought a computer in 1995. Though my aim is to go for a group 1 government exam, government officer, aim is to at least become a lecturer in my subjects. That's what I was planning for masters in my art subjects. I wrote exams like any of my BA classmates, and then they got in Central University. Getting Central University MA is not easy. That's why some of them are working in the prominent India leading newspapers, English magazine as editors and all. That is about how I started. Then I want to learn about computer hardware. So let me tell you how many degrees, how many certification courses I did. I spent a lot of money for certifications, and then I spent money for courses also throughout the year, every year, I mean to say. So when I finished my Bachelor of Arts in 1995, then I moved to Hyderabad, right? Hyderabad in India. Then I'm planning to appear for civils. Then day one, when I landed in Hyderabad by bus or whatever, I went to Ravu's IAS study circle in Somajikoda. It's next to the governor's office. And then I went to, I met him. He's a chain smoker, subject to correction. And then he told Kumar, you need 2 years of rigorous hard work to give an exam. Forget about becoming an IAS officer. And during my graduation, I studied a lot of magazines, Illustrated Weekly. In fact, the Hindu editorial page, I used to bind it. And current affairs, knowledge, group 1, group 2, income tax inspectors, then NDA exams, whatever. You name any government exam that I might have attempted it, not one time. Unfortunately, I didn't get selected. But I worked in government, that's a different story. But let me tell phase by phase. So once I moved to Hyderabad, then I bought a computer, right? Aptech 6 months diploma when my uncle took me to Aptech Bashir Bagh, and then tried to join for 6 months course just to feed the civil service data in my computer. And then I want to understand how computer works. I don't know why suddenly this is twist. Then I went to IEC Secunderabad, Koti. I'm telling you every detail, right? So I don't know why haters, they should love me, man, or the fucking Sam or whatever. Okay, let me not recollect haters because I get filthy words. I love everyone. This is purely for people who want to start career in IT, those who love me or those who following me. For them, particularly for them I'm recording it. And many of my relatives in India are working in offshore in IT, right? So they will know my journey of life. So after the BA, then I went to IEC, right? Hardware diploma. Then I told them I want to work and I want to go abroad, something like that. And then I told them, somehow convinced, at that 6 months I finished it in 3 months. There in the Optech also, the counselor told, oh, not 6 months, you have to join for 1 year. So I enroll it for 1 year, then extended it for 2 years. The 2 years course I did it in 1.5 years, because I want to go to Dubai or whatever. I convinced them, something like that. And then I put a lot of efforts learning hardware, software, and then I tried to do a Java programming. It didn't go. You need a logical thinking, right? Then I gave up. I got out the programming for passing purpose I did. And then I realized that 16 years of education will add the 2 years of Optech diploma. It will be considered by US. Then what I did is, during that time, I went for hardware jobs. I don't know how many shops I went, like international students go here for shop to shop for illegal part-time jobs. Like that I did in India. It's not illegal, right? So shop to shop. I did my BA. This is my hardware diploma. I can assemble computers, give me a job. Many said get out, but some, they gave me jobs and I learned hardware. In fact, I worked in hardware manufacturing unit for rugged industries. I don't know whether you guys aware or not. Like rugged industries means like steel plant, they need a computer, but they need a computer in, for example, where exactly the it is manufacturing. So career, sorry for I lost it. Yeah, manufacturer for rugged industries. So these computers, they will put it at where exactly where a lot of heat is there, or those kind of environment it can sustain. So then I went for when I went for some other training also, chip designing, 8089. Then I learned what is chip designing. So then I quit that job. So that gentleman told, pay back whatever the training you attended for chip level, who will give you for networking for you to practice. Then I went for Bangalore. I wrote novel networking exams. First time I heard about networking, and then I start preparing on my own all these books, understand, and I took the help of some of the faculties. Later they become friend, one of them, and is now in a position, whatever. So I learned networking on my own. I don't understand when I go for interviews like Satchem and other companies, they used to ask questions, how did you do networking with a BA? Because novel networking, there are 7 papers. I passed it, and also I enrolled in NIT first MCSC curriculum training in the South India, and then I attended and I passed the exams. Those are 5-6 papers, one is exempted. Somebody from Canada came and attended for networking also. I'm talking about 95 to 97, even 97, before 97. Where Hyderabad is for peak marketing for mainframe. I also went for, I didn't go to ER&DC, but I went to Bangalore, Tata, and for the, who gives a mainframe training, not the job. Penta for Madras also, but somehow I missed the boat for mainframe, and then I went for networking. So I started learning. I passed the exams, right? Whenever I go for Amirpet or anywhere for interviews, where they ask for server workstation, 2 papers, I passed all the 5, and then novel networking 7 papers. But when I go to Wipro or these Satchem computers, they ask me to get out because you have a BA. So that I didn't understand what is wrong. Then I went to one of my uncles, distant uncle, I don't know, somehow a friend worked as a faculty in Optech. He took me and sent me inside the vice president HR room. I don't know whether to tell the name or not. And, later he migrated to Australia, is what I heard. I told him I came here to know why company is refusing so that I can improve my qualification. I don't understand, wherever I go people are refusing. Then he said in the future HM may consider BCom or BSc but not BA. This was, I'm talking about 95 to 97 in between. HR took the interview and saying, how did you do networking with BA? This is the only thing. I don't understand to learn A plus B whole square formula, A square plus B square plus 2AB. What qualification do you need? So this is what I try to explain, but I don't know, they never convinced, and companies, they want BTech and all. But still, I started working for Godrej, and then Optic, Tirupati, TTD Tirupati, they want Tirumal Tirupati Devasthanam, one of the prestigious Hindu religious center, just like for Rome is for Christianity, how there's something like that. Next to Rome, Tirupati get that much of money. And I went there. They offered me free accommodation, good salary and all. And then Uptake Hyderabad put my resume for Dubai and where Bahrain, one of the offer I got, but it was not materialized. All of them are BTech wherever I go. Then I have only BA. This HM gentleman, when I met, he told that technical qualification, right? Then I understand I don't have a post graduation with IT. Then I did not resign my job, but somehow I went to Chennai, Madras next station, and then I about to pay the fees for MCA, Master of Computers and Applications, for full-time course, 3 years. And they gave application form and I'm filling it, and at the bottom it was written they have a center in Hyderabad. Before paying the fees, I told her, I took one of my uncle also along with me. Please give me 2 minutes. I came out and I called Hyderabad center. Then they said yes. Then because I don't need to quit the job if it is in Hyderabad, right? So then I returned to Hyderabad and I joined for masters while working. That's why I always advise you do post graduation at your cost. Don't borrow money from your parents. Don't become burden to them. So they have weekend classes. So then I realized US considers the correspondence or weekend classes type, or they just need 16 years of education, man. They don't bother about where you did, what you did, except from IIT BTech. They don't consider, they consider as a tissue paper. So that 16 years of education is done. So then I decided not to, then by the time I got a government job, right? So not to quit that job until I finish my MCA. In between I got offers in Malaysia and other places. I went to Singapore after I did Lotus Notes, RFID training and certification, I don't remember. Then after MCA, then I went to Warangal. I did my Master of Philosophy in Computers. I didn't submit my thesis. If I submit, I would have become MPhil, and then I thought of enroll it for PhD if I continue life in India. But by the time I got H1B in 2008, that is a different story. So from again, what I did is a novel networking, right? That 7 papers, that is about 97, and then 96 is about my hardware diploma, software diploma, and then I attended Wilshire. I know Madhu, he did MS here and he returned there, and then Unix DBA and Oracle DBA. These are the courses I attended and I gave exams. I should not say wasted. I spent a lot of money for training and certifications while during working or anywhere. For example, companies may not sponsor, right, sometimes. Then I attended in government director trainer skills, design of training program, those certifications, Lotus Notes, RFID, these 3 I got it while I was in government. And then MCSC curriculum NIT, that is from the 97. And then attended training course on microprocessor applications. Then 2003 upgraded skills for I don't know how many online exams I gave, CCNA, Linux, trainings attended. And then I learned multiple OS, and one of the managers advised you learn database also, because very few are having systems with database. Then I learned Oracle DBA at my cost, and try to do multiple tasks at the work location. And then meanwhile I attended French for 4 months for Canada immigration, so that if you pass French also, there are jobs in Wipro in India those days. I don't know now, because I met some of the friend, and then they said like if you pass 8th level, then you will have wonderful on-site opportunities to like translating from French to English or whatever. So this is about my career IT journey. And when it comes to work wise, wherever I go, I tell like it's only the environment and people are new. Technology is not new to me, like I said, right? Like the only thing you have to acquaintance with the people, and then the environment, the people. Technology, you know, right? Technology is not something new. So when in Godrej, like HP Unix servers are there, and then they are installing Born at that time, and then Mumbai team came, and then they asked me to come to Mumbai. I was afraid how to live in Mumbai, I don't know, so I didn't go through interview there. I was afraid simply because it's Mumbai, right? And then I learned, during that time I thought of learn HP Unix very quickly from Wilshire, but Wilshire has only one batch in the morning, but my shift is morning 7 to 3:30, and it doesn't match the curriculum, whatever. But I learned Oracle on Linux, 11G, whatever, up to 8 I started, and 11G I ended, I think, during that time. And then he said like only one batch, whatever. So somehow I could not learn HP training. Underwent training is some kind of you have a rhythm, right? But I learned on my own and managed, and then Godrej, they closed that wing, whatever. Then I went as a group leader and network engineer in Tirupati, and then I've done multiple projects, 12 members, and then worked on various technologies. I learned Oracle. Again, 10 days gap, I came to Hyderabad with my two-wheeler by train from 2 different locations. Then I learned Oracle on Oracle separately, 8 version, and Oracle on Linux. Then again I come back to Tirupati, and then because I don't need to do programming, but when I hired, I don't want to name that person name, so I hired him, and he got a visa refusals, F1, and then he came for interview. So whatever, 12 members team, right? Director software, we did a presentations, and then the executive officer of the TTD presented to the then chief minister. And then various projects, we went to various departments, medical and health, and I don't remember, diamonds, that is jewelry department. The EU has given permission computerize all the departments. Then from IIM and IITs candidates also came. Ramco, I think the company, and then I met them at guest house. They told, you are good, you are doing great, is what they told me. Then I was thinking they are from IIT, and like that submissive culture is there, but they told, no Kumar, you are doing wonderful job. They refused us to enter the building, but you already working there as a group leader, network engineer. And when I refer Satagopan, I think he is a IIT professor or IIM subject correction from Bangalore. So when I say the fiber optic connections between Tirupati and Tirumala, then he asked like, who is that person giving advice there? Then he came online, and it was wonderful. I mean, whatever I name the software, those companies come and forward and offer the software. For example, SAP. So like that. And I also learned SAP, and I felt like it's a dream to work in SAP, but SAP, unfortunately, I could not get any job in SAP field, I'm saying, not company. And then SAP, I learned for knowledge purpose. It's only transaction codes, and I don't feel anything difficulty in learning any new technology, because I'm not designing that, right? I'm only learning what is there, all the features, and at the work we do only configurations. I started work when there is no internet, when there is no Google. Now it is very easy. You type everything in Google, right? So all you need is simple common sense, and then English is not required for technical jobs, because you work on technology on the back end, right? You don't speak for marketing and sales unless there is a presentations once in a while. So this is about a journey from Godrej and then TTD. It's a wonderful job. In India, in US, they call hiring manager, and then 3 members. It's a big short year, but in those days, I was referred to 1998. So while doing the transportation project, like he explained, the buses goes from the hill up and down. It's like a uphill and downhill. So it consumes more. Then we went to local road transportation office. How to analyze, how to calculate the fleet value when the wheel rotates, how much the company or the government spends money for 1 mile, one wheel. So those from there we started analyzing, understanding, and then we see how the corruption malpractices to eradicate by using the computerization, those things. But the employees, always government, they have a fear of losing jobs. And then we made projects, and then the assistant general manager was crying and explaining how much money is wasted, lack of computerization, and then corruption and all. So these things we did computerized, and it was a wonderful experience. And after that moved to Hyderabad, and then I don't know how many things I learned during 1999 to 2005. I learned various stuff, not just IT. Then I learned about change management and interact with so many people, international delegates. I learned so much of stuff, not just IT. And then while working in one of the MNCs, I'm not naming it, I'm looking at LinkedIn and telling, so multiple projects, morning, night, 8 a.m. if I enter the company until midnight I worked. So that much of workload I did, because I told in one of the videos, in India, Indian managers try to extract three people work, 3 shifts of work from one man in 2 shifts of that time for 1 shift pay. So that much workload offshore we will do. Definitely from on-site, when I was, like, most of the patchwork is shifted to offshore. Only planning and designing takes place here. Rest of it is offshore. But if it is an offshore based company, everything is taking place there, right? So the load is very high. So once you enter the building, enter the dragon. So there is no outcome and out time. So lots of stuff I learned there. Networking, I don't know, like everything in networking in that company I did. And then I never know how many interviews I've attended. One time one friend told, Kumar, are you writing how many interviews I've been attending? A lot of interviews. Then I used to maintain the notes, questions. Then we don't have phones, only landline is there where I was residing, and that's not my own house, right? So then we used to go to friends' place and then wait outside when they come from work, then show these questions. Like, it's not work, technology side. So this is a problem, how to fix it. So this is how, because there's phones are not there, internet is not there, email is not there. To write email, I used to go to Bangalore, from Hyderabad to Bangalore by bus, and to write online exams. Even in email, there is only road number 12 Banjara Hills, one particular location, one cyber cafe has. I don't have email ID. I have to give his email ID, and someone send an email from America, take a printout and read that, get it to home and read. So those days, I'm telling, it was like that. So, but still we worked, right? Still I don't know how many countries I tried, like in New Zealand, Australia, and then for MS, MCOM computers, they gave admission on this part. They said not MS, MCOM. And then Singapore I went, very short visit, and most of the interviews abroad, when they visit for Hyderabad, I have attended. It doesn't matter what skill it is, I just went there and then I gave my resume. You know, right, many asked for money for filing, then I refused, and This is up to India one. When it comes to US, the work environment, the very first project I felt like I don't know how it works, how it looks in India. It is like this mental block will be there. People who work 10 years in India, so because they haven't seen online on site any job, right? So once that is gone, then it is very smooth. I learned from people, man, throughout my journey. I never learned anything from books, though I buy books. After reading 50% of it, I gave up. Very few books I read 100%. I don't have patience to sit there and read. But when it comes to computers, learning new courses, it is very interesting. I take entire theory in 8 hours or 16 hours on a weekend, and then lab I do whenever it is convenient. That's how I learn any new technology online like that. I paid a lot of money, but because I hired somebody, right, for my to transfer the knowledge for a particular subject. For example, something Google Cloud is now, but AWS I'm talking about 2013. How do you learn AWS in one? Because the project is very short time. Project has a short date and end date. It is very short time in a short location somewhere. You have to go there, you have to learn, you have to acquire, and you have to practice, right? So these things I did. So my haters don't know that Kumar change every 2 months. They don't know every 2 months if you have to change a project means you have to be update in the technology. You have to be on training wheels always, and you have to acquire a lot of knowledge, right? You have to spend your time productively all the time. Like I didn't take shower several times on weekends. I only practice whatever I learned theory, right? Whatever I read, for example, migration projects, various things. So this is about online. So on-site projects. On-site, it's more of a in India offshore. What happens is a new guy joined in any of the outsourcing companies. The company will drill you in first 3 months on campus if you are selected. So in 3 months they will teach you everything, and then they will push you to a job location in India. I'm talking. So you have everything, right? So in particular sector you will vertically grow. But whereas at on-site you have to have everybody is a soldier here, not a king. Like whether you work or not in government, you will the conveyor belt will take you to the next level. Whereas in IT also, in private, in India, team lead, manager, senior manager, or president, something, vice president, whatever, GM, assistant GM, whether you work or not, but of course you will work. At onset, everybody is a soldier. Nobody is a king, right? So here, clients expect multiple tasks. You can't say you only know Extensor and sit idle. No, you have to do multiple tasks, multiple skill set in one person. That's what consultant is, they call. So that is the difference between guys in offshore people and when they move to on-site. So offshore only for one guy, one expert. Subject to correction, maybe there might be people who are having multiple skills. I'm talking about at least level 1 to level 3 technology people or level 5. But in US, you should have you don't need to be a master in one Extensor, but you need to know level 2, level 3 guy in every technology. Don't need to be on only one. Then market is yours. Of course, layers, immigration status, I'm not talking. I'm talking about only the career front. So if you have that multi-task, multi-skill set on your plate, then life goes very smoothly. But same time, you should not stop, right? Every day, 1 hour at least you have to spend for training. So when I start my career in novel networking or even before hardware, now today Google Cloud, Azure, AWS, I learned all this cloud and upgraded my skill set, right? So I didn't sit with Lotus Notes R5 in 1999. So every year I'm learning new skill and writing a program, and I forgot I saved one, again one location, a person like my age and what do you call, in Telugu there is a word, it's a colleague or not a colleague, friend, and your age. So then what happens is like, let me open. Yeah, we planned together, career plan. So we wrote a chart, how many hours we need to spend like that. If you are diligent and take 10 weeks study for CCNE, latest one, security side, and then 10 to 15 hours, something like this we planned. Some of it is materialized, and then certified. This is in 2018 I'm talking. Then I bought a book for CISSP, and also PMP I bought book in 2010 or 11. I told there are 2 PMP available for 25 cents. Don't do this, is what one friend advised, and I dropped. So we went through this material, I'm telling. So, but we aim for certifications, and that gentleman already is an American ex-colleague and friend, and then he has certified in several things in cyber security side. Certified in risk information system, CRISC and CISM, CISSP, CISCI, PMP. These are the stuff we went through. Some of it we don't want to spend money, freely available everything, right, these days. And then exam study guide, CISSP material. Then we every week, I mean, we spend extra time at work location in DC. Apart from working 10 to 12 hours a week, and Thursday off day I worked, right, because I used to drive to upstate New York. So because the map is in the reverse like this, the table. The CISM, these many hours, CISSP, CCNA, Cloud, AWS, DevOps, tools, MCC 2016, and then PowerShell, VMware 6.5. I'm talking about these 2018 we planned like this, and then we spent like this. In your age guy, if you meet at a new work location and his wavelength matches and you become friend, not just colleague, then you will have this rapport, this technology will talk. So like that, I don't know how many of good friends like that I met during my journey of life. Not talking about their race or what do you call immigration status. So this will help you to move. See, when I start my career as an hardware engineer and network engineer, I did not leave my track, though mainframe get a lot of money and demand and boom, whatever. So I did not leave that track. So what else I need? I'm happy of what I'm doing. So when I came to US, when I talked to one friend, he told, forget about all this production stuff and all. Why do you need to take so much of risk and so much of money? Do a cool job, 9 to 5 desktop engineer job, Kumar. Why do you want all this production job? So like that he told, and then I did production jobs in New York, New Jersey, travel extensively, fix the problems in SAN servers. I thought of only dissatisfaction, like I didn't do storage, but fortunately I got that chance. Also I worked on hardware side also, IBM SAN, EMC SAN, and then there is NEC SAN. Only NEC Japan supports that, and then I assembled, then configured end to end. And when I call IBM, I used to tell them, you send the part, I will fix it. I don't need an engineer. So that kind of expertise I got in IBM products, IBM servers, any blade servers, and SAN, anything in the SAN. I in fact I did a wonderful documentation, and the vendor submitted for client for $2,000 to sell it. It's like a documentation. Kumar spent these many hours and this cost this much. I put again print screens and pin to pin. If you want to configure rack and stack, how many parts you need, how to assemble, then after assemble, how to scan, how to assemble, and then how to fix it, if there are any errors, because IBM SAN sent a default IP, but you have to reconfigure it if there are any issues, those things, and then up to creation of LUNs. But only in the government side, the problem is they look at immigration status. They say don't allow these people to do this kind of job like that for the security reasons. So some they were restricted for only American citizens to do that kind of stuff because of the DMZ networks, right? That's any slight constraint, but otherwise I went to that extent. And SRM, I don't remember the abbreviation acronym. That is on the SAN side, and I never stop learning. I always thirsty of learning new technologies, or eager to learn new technologies, and I never feel any difficulty in carrying this SAN 250 lbs and back pain and all. But otherwise I don't feel learning new technology. I never end yeah, I'm happy, I want to stop here. I never felt like that while I was learning new technologies, or while I'm learning new technologies. So this much, sorry, I talk almost 35 minutes. It might be boring to some people, but it might be interesting to you. And each new location, different people, different work style, different environment, different work culture, whatever it is, but baseline doesn't change, right? The technology. So identify the problem, fix the problem, take approval, whatever, and then move forward. And then always look for a learning new technology on the same belt, and looking for a new opportunities. So I never stop. Always I get an yes, 20 projects or 21 I did. Always I used to get 2 offers same time. So there is a on same time, few seconds gap, and I used to get confused which one to take. I never prefer high billing. I always first come first basis, and yeah, like that. So I never stop attending interviews. I never stop learning, and when there is no project, I never slept. So passion, patience, persistence. If you have these 3, then nobody can stop you, man. Thank you for watching. I have humanity, compassion, empathy, and this video is dedicated for you who are entering career IT, or who are shifting from non-IT to IT, who are planning to go abroad, any country. God bless you, if God exists.